This is Whisker, and today Whisker wants to introduce you to a friend of his. This is Twinkle. And Twinkle is, without exaggeration, one of the biggest and strongest animals that has ever walked the earth. He can push over trees. He has no natural predators. A full-grown lion won't even try. Nothing on this planet scares Twinkle, nothing. Except this. That's a bee. It weighs less than a paperclip. And it is about to make a 6-ton elephant run for his life. So what is going on here? Why is the largest animal on land absolutely terrified of one of the smallest? The answer is stranger, and honestly smarter, than you'd think. And by the end, it turns out this tiny fear is saving thousands of elephants' lives. Let's start from the beginning. First, the obvious question. An elephant's skin can be up to 2.5 centimeters thick. A bee sting can't get through that. So why would an elephant, of all animals, be afraid of getting stung? The answer is that the elephant isn't protected everywhere. There are a few spots where the skin is thin and sensitive, and bees seem to go straight for them. The inside of the trunk, the area around the eyes, behind the ears, and the trunk is the worst possible place because an elephant's trunk is one of the most sensitive, important body parts in the entire animal kingdom. Think about what a trunk does. It has around 40,000 muscles. The elephant uses it to breathe, to smell, to drink, to grab food, to touch its family. It's basically their nose, their hand, and their voice all in one. Now imagine a swarm of bees flying straight into it. A sting inside the trunk is agony, and a whole swarm going for the eyes and the trunk at once. For an elephant, that isn't a small annoyance. It's a genuine emergency. And it's even more serious for the babies. Young elephants have thinner skin all over, and a swarm of bees can actually be life-threatening to a calf. So evolution had a very good reason to make elephants take bees seriously. But here's where it gets fascinating. Because elephants don't just feel fear, they organized around it. To understand how clever this is, scientists did an experiment. Researchers with Oxford University and a group called Save the Elephants played the recorded sound of angry bees to wild elephants and filmed what happened. The moment the elephants heard the buzzing, they didn't just get nervous. Within seconds, they turned and retreated, fast. But they also did something no one expected. They made a specific sound, a special low rumble that the other elephants immediately understood. When researchers played that rumble to a different herd, with no bees anywhere, the elephants still ran away and shook their heads as if brushing off insects. Let that sink in. The elephants essentially have a specific alarm call that means bees, run. It's not just a scream of fear. It's a warning, a piece of information passed from one elephant to the others. It's about as close to a word as an animal alarm call gets. So an elephant that spots bees can warn its entire family in an instant, and the whole herd knows exactly what to do. This is a coordinated defense system built around an insect. And it gets passed down. Elephants have famously good memories, and that's not a myth. They can remember the location of water sources for decades and recognize other elephants after years apart. That same memory applies to danger. An elephant that has a bad encounter with bees remembers where it happened and can avoid that area for a long time. And the young ones learn from the adults. A calf watching its mother panic and flee at the sound of bees learns instantly that bees are a threat, without ever having to be stung. This is why the fear is so powerful. It's not just instinct. It's instinct, plus memory, plus learning from the herd, all stacked on top of each other. An elephant can hear a swarm from a distance and leave the area before the bees even become a problem. So we have a giant that is genuinely deeply afraid of a tiny insect and has built an entire system of alarms and memory around avoiding it. For a long time, that was just a strange fact of nature. And then one scientist asked a very clever question. What if we could use it? In many parts of Africa and Asia, elephants and farmers have a serious problem. Elephants raid farms at night, eating and trampling entire crops, a family's whole livelihood, in a single visit. Farmers, desperate to protect their food, sometimes hurt or even kill the elephants. It's one of the biggest causes of elephant deaths near human areas. For years, nothing really worked. Fences get pushed over, Elephants are too smart and too strong for most barriers. And then a researcher named Lucy King connected two facts. Elephants are terrified of bees, and farmers need a fence. Her idea was beautifully simple. Instead of a normal fence, you build a fence made of beehives, wooden boxes with real bee colonies, hung on wires, spaced around the edge of a farm. Here's how it works. When an elephant tries to push through the fence, it shakes the wire, which shakes the hives, which sets off the bees. The elephants hear that buzzing, remember exactly what it means, and turn around. They don't even have to get stung. The sound alone is enough, and the results were incredible. In many trials, beehive fences kept the large majority of elephants away from the crops. In some studies, around 8 out of 10 elephants turned back. The farmers protect their harvest without hurting a single elephant. But here's the best part. The bees also make honey. So the farmers get a second income, elephant-friendly honey, from the very fence that protects their crops. Everybody wins. The farmer keeps their food and earns money. The bees get a home. And Twinkle gets to live. A fear that evolved over millions of years turned into a tool that solves one of the hardest conflicts between humans and wildlife, using nothing but some wooden boxes and the elephant's own instincts. So the next time you think about how big and powerful an elephant is, remember Twinkle. Remember that the largest animal on land can be stopped by one of the smallest, not because it's weak, but because it's smart enough to know exactly what it can't fight. We spent years seeing this fear as a weakness. It turned out to be one of the smartest survival strategies in nature, and the key to saving the very giants we were trying to protect. Sometimes the biggest problems have the smallest solutions. If you made it this far, Twinkle and I have a small favor to ask. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like. It genuinely helps us make more of these, and it means the world to two small doodles like us. And if you want to meet another animal with a secret worth knowing, your next story is right here. See you in the next one.